the program aware, make the community aware of the program. So,
Okay, thank you for your thoughts.
thank you.
And so, bringing it back to the council, the question is whether we want to build in, as I see it, the question is whether we want to build in an exemption for contents of signs relating to recreational services offered exclusively to youth. And it sounds like we could, on a seasonal or 4-time-a-year basis, if we wanted to limit it further. Now, let me ask City Attorney for a comment.
Mr. Mayor, council members, one of the reasons that we drafted the policy in the way that it is, and that it limits the communication currently on this to city-oriented, either city-sponsored or co-sponsored or city-wide beneficial events, was because the First Amendment analysis that goes on behind this policy. And without giving you an entire lecture about First Amendment policy, suffice it to say that there are different levels of regulation that the city can undertake depending on the type of forum that's involved. This isn't considered a traditional public forum like a street or park where they're known to gather and communicate. So it has to be evaluated as one of the other types. The problem is that the distinction between the two other types varies quite a bit. A non-traditional forum, this government cannot regulate the content of the speech. It has to be open to everyone and equally. The reason we drafted the policy this way was to treat the signs on the fence and the other various locations as a non-public forum and very limited opportunity to speak. And the clearer that the city has its distinctions between who is and isn't allowed to speak, the more protected the city in terms of its First Amendment analysis. And so that's one of the reasons the line can get very fuzzy between beneficial for children, how old are children, how far is it only citywide, what if it's beyond the city boundaries, etc. So those are some of the reasons motivating the drafting of the policy as it currently is.
Okay. I think I got you. But let me ask you this. What if Ms. Wade were to apply to the city for sponsorship to the extent of posting a sign 4 times a year at the Fen? We were to agree that we would sponsor her activity so long as she conducted it in the city limits in that manner, to that extent, that limited extent.
Right.
Then she'd fall in the sign policy?
We'd have to take a look at that because the sign...
All right, but I'm not paying any more money. You can take another look at it, but I don't want to pay any more money for it.
Right.
Okay.
The sign policy generally prohibits commercial speech as well as political speech and religious speech.
Seems to me that the public benefit to be had in having these kind of services that we otherwise would not have available within the city limits.
If your wishes to redefine this, we came forward, part of it was the legal issue, another part of it was started with the old policy, and this new policy reflects those parameters in some way. If the council wishes to redefine those parameters, I'm talking to our attorneys here, that giving us some time to go back and think through all the what-ifs in terms of making sure this policy includes the right language that reflects your interest but also protects the city based on the legal issue would be advantageous. So I would ask if you would like us to redraft this, that we can bring it back at the next meeting and spend a little time thinking it through to make sure we've covered all the bases from a legal standpoint.
I think that's the council's preference. I think we'd like whichever would work out better. I don't think the council would have a problem sponsoring activity like this as long as we had an agreement that was available within the city limits. We could then say the city co-sponsoring it. We'd have approved part of it and have a sign up that way. What's the council comment?
How would the city say we're going to co-sponsor sponsoring it?
Well, we pay the $30 to put the sign up ourselves.
And then will that allow the rest of the nonprofits?
And
that
in
do the same
return,
thing?
we would get for the gymnastic services free in the city of Carpinteria.
I understand that, Mayor. Now, with all the other nonprofits, are we going to waive that fee as well then? Because they are absolutely returning to the community.
Well, we give some of those nonprofits many thousands of dollars. Girls Inc. and the Boys Club, Boys and Girls Club. AYSO we sponsor to the extent that we provide fields for them at less than they would pay in the surrounding state.
Yeah, and in return, they
This is
provide
an-
recreation for the community.
True.
Okay, I just want to throw that on the table, because like I said before, it becomes a pretty slippery slope, and I'm not sure, I'm not the lawyer, you are. I defer, but, I mean, I just would hate to open something up where then we're going to start backpedaling somewhere down the road. So I would be amenable to giving staff a little more time, but we just need to know our parameters and what's going to come in. We have quite a few what-ifs that.
Well, I think the elements of what we discussed here tonight are that they're recreational services, they're offered exclusively to youth, and the signs are posted on a seasonal basis not to exceed 4 times per year. So that seems pretty limited to me.
I think I'm going to concur with Councilmember Stein. I just see this getting opened up, and, you know, I don't want somebody coming in here and saying, you're being unfair to seniors, or you're being unfair to so-and-so. You know, I need to advertise also. I just don't know where this stops.
And believe me, I sympathize. I think it's a great idea, a great program.
Yeah, why don't you become a nonprofit?
Yeah. But, sorry, Mayor, excuse me,
Let me
I'm sorry.
again dissuade people from
I'm
having
sorry.
a dialogue off the microphones.
Mr. Mayor, that's just...
Go ahead.
I think that would be, again, I just said my piece, and we can give staff some more time to come back at it. So that's what the council chooses.
Okay, Mr. Armendariz, how do you feel about this?
I think we should give staff a little more time to look at it and make our decision the next meeting.
I concur with that.
Okay, I won't be here on the 25th. Can we put it on the 25th? Just kidding.
Are you a lawyer? Excuse me.
Thank you for coming. We'll try to accommodate you.
Yes.
This will be on then in March 10th? Okay. Do we need a motion to continue this until that date?
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I so move this, we move this into our March 10th meeting.
All right, moved and seconded. We move this to March 10th for further consideration. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion continues, or motion carries unanimously. Thanks to everyone who came. Thanks for your comments. Appreciate them. And that being the last item of business, we will temporarily adjourn to session